Guys, give me the practical strategies for our listeners. Somebody who's not in the market or wants to be soon or thinking about it next 6 or 12 months, maybe even sooner, or somebody who already has property and is going, now I've got opportunity to strike. I want to take action. What are the practical next steps? When do you meet with a broker? When do you start to assess these things? Talk me through it.
I'll talk through maybe someone who doesn't have a property, and Marty, you can maybe talk about the investor piece. But if I was someone that didn't have a property at the moment, I've probably been looking or at least interested in the last 12 to 18 months. And Jace, you'll attest to this, but that's how long it can take people to scour a market, understand what it's like before they get in. Have a look at what properties are doing now compared to what they were 6 months ago, and have a chat to some real estate agents to understand what is going on in the market, what is available, because there's not many listings at the moment. Understand what your borrowing capacity is, and then request that your broker stress test that. So understand what your repayments would be on the current interest rates, then understand, assuming you can achieve the serviceability from the lender's point of view, understand what those repayments would look like if they move to 5 or 6%. I would say 6%, just really stress test it. And if that's okay for you, then I would be letting a real estate agent know what you're in the market for and encourage them to come to you with properties, because there's properties at the moment that could be off market as well. Vendors are just as concerned as purchasers. So vendors actually, some of them might really want to get deals done at the moment because they might be worried that their property won't be worth the same amount in 12 months' time. So they could be speaking to agents saying, hey, look, I'm thinking about selling, I'm not sure. The agent could say, well, I've got someone here. So really two simple things there, Jace, whichever way you want to do it. But number one is probably speak to your broker, understand your maximum, and then stress test that to 6%. Make sure you can afford that no matter what the lender says. Then start speaking to real estate agents, letting them know what you've got to spend, and see if you can get a deal done a little bit easier than going to an auction and bidding against 10 people.
Yeah, and from the investor piece, I would, at this stage, get my property valued. So let's say you've got a debt of $500,000 on your mortgage at the moment, your house is worth $1 million. Valuations are holding up because they're going off past performance, right? So you're at the peak of where your valuations are. So let's say you draw out $300,000 of equity that you're going to use to purchase an investment property. You might buy something for $750. You put that on interest only. You borrow against that at 80%. So that would be $600,000. And the aim there is, again, in 15 years' time, let that pay off your mortgage. Now, you'd review depending on your circumstances at the time, but let that double in the next 15 years to 1.5, and then you pull that out to pay everything off that you need to pay off. So, but again, like Nick said, now is a really good time to be sourcing those markets. You could get a buyer's advocate to do, just really get in on great value on properties. And like I said, some vendors are fearful that their properties are going to be worth less in 12 months' time. So, there might be a bit of give, less competition. Investors are getting great yields on investment. I've never seen a market where the tenancy rate is so low. All the fundamentals, buying good areas, close to transport, close to schools, close to capital cities. All those factors are just as important now as they ever have been. But again, now is a great time to prep yourself and use your equity and create wealth and have that equity working for you. And look, still with the rents going higher, which is great. So even though the interest rates are going up, the yields are going up significantly too. So your holding costs are a lot lower on that investment as well. So you've got to think about all those things. You've got to workshop the individual circumstance for yourself. And once you get understanding around it, it's amazing with first-time investors. Once they see what can be done and it's low impact on their cash flows, they double up because they get comfortable with the strategy and they can see. It's funny, you talk about goals with people and they go, we got 2 kids, we want to get the second investment for the second child. There's amazing what goals come out of actually talking to people about utilising the equity effectively. But leverage the valuation on your current property because we have been through good times and those values are stacking up. Draw on the equity as a deposit, strong deposit, and then, buy that investment and sit on that for the next 15 years. Have patience. Don't worry about the market and it will give you a return that will set you up. And the best types of clients that I've seen do really well, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, is they've ended up paying out their debt. They've had a couple of investment properties, and it's worked for them. They've had much more equity than people that are overactive and try and get 10, 20 properties and end up not sleeping at night. But they're the ones that I've seen really do well over the past 25 years as well. Yeah, clear goals and simple strategy, deleverage debt. Perfect.